Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole and I'm a wedding photographer based in Toronto, Ontario. And today I'm going to be diving into a topic that is kind of tricky but can be very rewarding, and that is photographing people in low light. Whether you're capturing a romantic candlelit dinner or an exciting wedding reception, I've got a few tips that will help you capture great photos in low light situations. So let's jump in. First thing is I'd like to talk about aperture. In a low light situation, you'll want to use a lens that has a wider aperture. So thinking something like f2.8 or even f2.0 or f1.4 can be really helpful. This wider aperture will allow more light to hit your camera sensor, which is crucial when you're in a low light situation. If we're using a prime lens, like a 50mm or 85mm, this is where they will truly shine. Not only do those types of lenses open wider than most zoom lenses, they will also allow for that beautiful bokeh effect where you get that gorgeous creamy background, which I love. The next tip that I have when you're shooting in low light is to use the focused assist beam. I find that I really struggle to focus on things when there isn't that much light. So I like to ensure that my camera's focus assist beam is activated, and that will really help me nail my focus in low light situations. On my Nikon Z6 II, for example, the focus assist beam will send out a narrow beam of light, and that really does help me lock my focus where I want to. Most cameras have the focus assist beam option within them. However, if your camera doesn't have that option, you can try manually focusing, and that can really help you, especially if you're focusing on a stationary object. My third tip when you're shooting in low light is to increase your ISO and also adjust your shutter speed. When you're in a low light situation, don't be afraid to bump up your ISO. Newer cameras handle higher ISOs much better than older camera models ever did. And in my opinion, a little bit of grain is better than a blurry shot. So you can combine the higher ISO with a slightly lower shutter speed to allow more light to hit your camera sensor. Just be careful when you're lowering your shutter speed that you don't introduce camera shake. So when I lower my shutter speed, I always like to check the back of my camera as I'm shooting to ensure that my images are still sharp. And a good rule of thumb is to keep your shutter speed at least 1 over the focal length of the lens that you're using. So for example, if you're using a 50mm lens, you could aim to keep your minimum shutter speed at 1 over a 50th of a second. When you have a slower shutter speed, it's a good idea to try to keep your hands steady so you can keep your elbows close into your body to kind of brace yourself to minimize camera shake. So when I'm setting up my camera settings during any situation, especially during low light, I always like to do a few test shots. And the beauty of digital cameras or mirrorless cameras is that you get immediate feedback. And I take a look at the image on the back of my LCD screen, zoom in, and double check that the images are sharp. Finally, when it's just too dark to capture exactly what you need using the available light in the room, don't be afraid to bring out your flash. I recommend trying to bounce a flash off a ceiling or a wall, and that helps soften the light to make it look a little more natural and flattering on people. If you're shooting a wedding, you can keep your flash on your camera, scope out the room for any light-colored walls or ceilings, and bounce your flash off those bright surfaces, and that will help you get really nice, natural-looking results. And that's it. So mastering low-light photography does take practice, but with these tips, you'll be well on your way to capturing stunning images, no matter how dark it gets. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.